Record to this computer. All right, so we're recording now. Hello, everyone. I'm Scott, aka Deviousness, the primary developer for Wasabee. We're just going to talk about basic setup and using Wasabee as boots today. We've got Crystal Wizard, who helps with our tech support, getting people set up in the Telegram chats. Robley's here, and Robley has been a beta tester since version 0.3, you know, because she's in my area and we're friends, and I always throw stuff over to her and say, hey, you know, test this. So she's been here since the very beginning, and I'm not going to go around the horn and do introductions. We'll just jump right in. Let's see. All right. So just for clarity for the recording and clarity for the conversation today, this is session 1 of 4, maybe more sessions. And today we're just going to talk about installing, introductions, and it's going to be focused on boots, focused on the field agents using it. We're not going to cover planning ops. We're not going to cover running ops, except for as directly impacts working with the field agents. And so it's introducing Wasabee for the agents in the field. And then if you're an operator, a field planner, or a zone operator, this is a good one to watch just because it gives you some background on how to use it when you're a field agent, what they see, what they experience. So that's the logic for today. And I have a degree in philosophy and a PhD in theology, which means that terminology is everything. So you got to get clear on the terms before you can actually start talking about it and start using the terms. That's just how I'm wired, so we're going to start with terminology. There are 4 main parts to Wasabee. There's some additional other stuff, but 4 main parts. There's Wasabee IITC, which is the IITC plugin. And when most people say Wasabee, this is what they mean. With me, you kind of have to be clear that it's Wasabee IITC because I'm working in 3 of the 4 parts. Wasabee IITC was not originally intended to be a boots tool, and it was not originally intended to be useful on mobile. The original developer for the IITC plugin had dropped the F-bomb when we talked about mobile. He just, you know, screw that, we don't want to do it. So we recognize from the outset that it can be difficult to use on mobile. The dialogues are too big. We know that. But it was not originally intended to be used as a boots tool. It's come to be found people really like using it on mobile, and some people will only ever use it on mobile. So we're doing what we can to make it useful there, but the legacy and the heritage is still there as being a desktop-focused tool. I do 98% of my development on the desktop, and so I have to go back and recheck later on mobile to make sure it works. We want it to work on mobile. It should be useful on mobile, but there's only so much we can do given resource constraint. The second part is the Wasabee server. This is the backend server which stores your shared op data and facilitates communication. Its job is to move messages around as quickly as possible. It's a process written in Google's language Go. It runs on, I've seen it installed on Windows. The SNED, one of the developers, got it running on Windows. But mostly I run it on Linux or OpenBSD or Google Cloud App Engine. I'm working on getting an App Engine version working as well. It uses a MySQL or MariaDB database for the back end, but its main job is to move messages around quickly. By messages, that means notifications, announcements, ops themselves are messages, those kinds of things. There's the Wasabee WebUI, which is what you use to interface with the server. So the only person who's got access to the running server for the three main servers is me. And there's really no interface for it. You start it up and you stop it. That's what it is. So to change anything in it, you use the WebUI. And this, I think, should be the first point of contact for most boots. Get them to log into the WebUI, get them to see their teams, to see their ops that are available to them, to set up their settings that they can customize there. And that now has the list of, sorry, chat was beeping at me, that list of help resources. So it's a good place to say the help resources are in the WebUI. Go start there. And then there's the Wasabee mobile app. We had one that was in development, had some features, never reached what we call minimum viable product, but it was kind of cool. It just didn't get very far, and the agent who was working on it got married. His life got hectic. He got a couple of promotions at work because of the work he was doing with this. He was able to show them some new things at his company. And so that kind of got scrapped. We have another one being developed right now by a team in France. Sebastien is working on it. We posted some screenshots to the chats. Right now it's Android only. The goal is to have it Android, iOS, but it allows you to see maps and manage everything. This is intended to be the default Boots tool once it's live. So the Wasabee mobile Android native, iOS native app will be the primary tool for Boots agents in the field during an op. That doesn't mean that they can't use the server, the WebUI, or the IITC interface. They're all fine. They're all talking to the same server in the back. So it's whichever tool is appropriate for you in that job. So those are the 4 parts. When you say Wasabee to me, I think of all 4 parts. If you're thinking of just the IITC plugin, say Wasabee IITC. When talking to me, that just keeps my brain from fritzing out. So some key concepts. Agents. We all know what an agent is. It's just the person. It's their Google ID number, which is the same ID number that's across all Google platforms. It's your Telegram number if you choose to set it up. It's your ingress name and some other limited data. We don't store much in the server. I don't store your email address. We don't store anything other than your last location submission, and then only for 2 hours. So mostly for privacy reasons, I don't want to store anything sensitive or long-term, and there's no reason to, so I don't. If you want that stuff stored long-term or available to other people, V or Rocks would be the appropriate place for that. That's what they're designed for, so let's use the tools that are designed for it. A key concept is the concept of a team. And a team is just a list of agents, and it's used to control access to operations and messaging. So the primary resource for controlling access to things is your team. So you assign a team to an operation. You do not assign an agent to an operation. The teams control the permissions, and the teams are the list of agents. It's the middle wedge in there. So you don't have to fiddle with one by one assigning agents to an operation. We had many fights in the early days about the best way to do this. Teams came out at the top as the best solution here. An operation is a plan for doing something in Ingress. The long and short of it, it is a list of portals, links, and markers. That's really all it is. We do not want to store anything that would get us in trouble with Niantic. We don't store portal state. We don't store state of active, actual in-game links. Anything like that gets really close to getting us in trouble with Niantic. So all we store are the portal ID numbers, their latitude and longitude, and that's the only thing that we store from the game. We think we can get away with that because ResWU does. The primary res tool does. So if they do it, we can do it. If they get in trouble, we'll get in trouble. If we get in trouble, we're going to complain loudly that they do it too. Anything beyond that, we try not to store because it would get us, it crosses that threshold that Niantic starts fighting back on. We all understand what a portal is. We understand what a link is. Unique to Wasabee is a marker. A marker is an action assigned to a portal. I'll say that again. A marker is an action assigned to a portal. We've got a long list of various types of markers: capture, destroy, go to, meet agent. There's a marker type for exclude from auto draws for planning stage, use virus. And we can add more if people have good suggestions for what need to be added. But a marker is an action assigned to a portal. Assignments, you can set an assignment on a marker or link, and it defines which agent is going to perform that action. So I can say this, I can put a marker on a portal that says destroy this portal or capture this portal, and assign that marker to an agent. So Crystal Wizard will need to go destroy this portal. There's a second, and messages are sent around depending on how that's done. There's a second type of message that's called a target. These are very rare, unused. I think I'm the only person who actually uses them. They are ad hoc notifications, and they're not tied to a marker. They're not tied to anything other than a portal ID, and they're used. I use them to say, okay, this is a target that we're in a live fire situation, so to speak. That the op is going on. Somebody says, "What's this portal?" I just send them a target, and they instantly get all the data about it. A link to Google, they get a link to Intel, a link to Google Maps, a link to Apple Maps. So targets are ad hoc. They're not common, but we need to distinguish between an assignment and a target. That's all that's there. We all know what blockers are. Blockers are processed and stateful in the IITC plugin, but they are not sent to the server. The server does not store blocker information, because I think that would cross the TOS lines and Niantic would start pushing back on us. So we do not store blocker information on the server. It is stored stateful in the plugin. So just know that that doesn't get pushed to the server. So if I scan for blockers in my view of the op, you have to do that as well in your view. Okay, installing desktop, which is what I know best. Update to the most current version of IITC. You don't have to use the dev build, but use the 0.30.1 or newer, if something newer is out there. Do not use the user script. Do not use the IITC button. Get 0.31 from iitc.app. Don't use the button. And just follow their directions for installing IITC. You'll need to install Tamper Monkey, Grease Monkey, depending on what browser you use. IITC documents all that, so let's do that. Step 2 is log into server.wasabee.rocks or eu.wasabee.rocks or ap.wasabee.rocks. They'll all be the same for this stage. We have 3 servers geographically spread around the world that help us distribute traffic around. Click on the Help tab across the top. There is a link for the release build and a link for the development build. Most of the time, the development build will work. I try to keep that functional. Every now and then a bug will creep in, and if we do a major refactor and reshuffle a lot of stuff, then things get kind of wonky. But it should at least be have basic functionality. The stable one is the one that we say, use this if it's absolutely critical. Tamper Monkey, as I'm using here, will prompt you to install or update, and then just log into Intel. On iOS, install IITC Mobile from the App Store. I think there's only one choice now. There used to be more. Use the purple one. At the top, you have to set a custom web view for agents. This is the step that everyone skips over, so I put it first here. All this does is make IITC lie to Google and tell it that it's a known browser. That way Google lets you log in, which is why that setting's even there in IITC. Go back to your settings, go to the user scripts, click the plus button, type in the URL for the version you want to use. It installs, you go out to the main screen, you can reload, you're good. On Android, I don't use Android. I don't know Android. It's not a knock on Android. It's just I don't know it. And it's different than the IITC one. So here's a URL. I'm going to make these slides available, by the way. Here's a URL you can go to, or it is now on the help screen in the WebUI. So this link is on the WebUI to an install document, and we're going to improve it over time. So give that to your boots if they want to run the IITC plugin on their mobile device. All right, basic use. The permissions model. Any op can have 3 kinds of teams assigned to it. The most common is going to be read. A read team allows you to see all of the operation data, links, markers, assignments. If you've got a team where you trust all the agents on it, put them on a team, give the team read permission to your op. It's the basic, it's the easiest thing to do. It lets them see everything, and they're off to the races. If you need multiple people editing the op at the same time, create a write team. Create a team, put the people you want to have write access to it on it, upload it. Wasabee does everything it can to make sure that all of the people with read or write access always have the most recent version, which is why the site has been updated and the background banner pops up frequently. Anytime there's a change to your team or your op, you get a push. That said, that push doesn't always come through. So if you have multiple people writing to the team, make sure you don't step on each other and communicate out of band to make sure that you're not crushing each other's changes. It works pretty well, but anytime you've got synchronous, asynchronous pulls and edits, it's possible for you to step on each other's changes. But it works pretty well as long as everyone has a browser running Firebase. The third type is assign only. This allows people on these kinds of teams to see only things that are directly assigned to them. So you can see links and markers that are assigned to you. So if you've got an op with multiple different zones and people don't need to know the details across the zones, or you have a new agent who you don't fully trust yet, but you want to send them out to kill 1 or 2 targets, the assigned only is the way to go. They will not see the full op. They will only see the things that are explicitly assigned to them. An op can have any number of teams assigned to it. Each team can have their own permission. So, for example, let's pretend we've got an op called Big Field number 37. I have a standing team called My Town Fielders. I trust these people. I work with them all the time. I give this team read access so they can see everything. Me and a buddy, we're the operators. It's Robley and I. And I know Robley's going to make good changes. She knows what to do, and she knows how to communicate with me. So she and I will be on a team that has write access to it. We've got a team of agents who I don't know, I don't trust, but maybe they're good, so we're going to give them assign-only access. They can see whatever they want. And then we have new people on the team who aren't part of the normal fielding team, but they're going to be the ones throwing the links. We're trying to get them all Onyx. So we give them read access as well so they can see everything. Now, so you can have multiple teams with different levels of access. The permissions model is flexible. Okay, this is why we fought so heavily in the beginning about this. There's not a right way of doing things. There's the way that's right for you, for your team, for the people you play with. Use what works for you. If that is creating one team that has write access to it and giving everyone on the team write access, that's fine. That's what works for you. But it's designed to scale from 3 people fielding the neighborhood to much larger continental size ops. I think once we get zone control in there, which is on the roadmap, we'll be well on our way. We don't have zone control yet. We're working on it. So how do you get your boots on a team? The easy default way is the team owner must add you, not the op owner, the team owner. Oh, one other thing about the permissions model. the op owner always has write access. If you're the one who uploaded the op, you've got write access. You own it, you can do anything. So, and you can delete it, which is the one thing that a write access can't do. You can give ownership of an op away. So if you've done the initial plan, want to hand it off to somebody else, you can do that through the WebUI. So, how to join teams. The default way is for the team owner to add you, not the op owner, the team owner. So the owner of the team can add you. There's a new way which you can create a join link, share that join link, and anyone with the link joins the team. Now, obviously, you want to keep that link within a trusted circle. You don't want that to leak out and unauthorized agents to join your team. You can change that or delete that at any time. So if you know only 5 people are going to join, once everyone's used the join link, revoke it. Either way, the boot agent, the agent must enable the team before they can see anything. You are on the team, but you are not actively on the team. So if you're on the team but not active, you don't count. You don't show up in the assignment lists. You do show up in the assignment lists. I don't remember. And you don't show up in the assignment lists. You can't see the ops, and you can't see, and other people can't see your location data. So if I add you to one of my teams because I want to know where you are, don't enable my team if you don't want me to know. And likewise, the opposite is true. You've got to enable the team before you're visible. So it's a two-way trust. I have to add you to my team. You have to enable my team. So if somebody were just to start spamming invites, they wouldn't see anything unless people went in and enabled teams that they don't know. So don't enable teams you don't know. Leave them. You know, it's a two-way trust. Using the WebUI. Next step. You can use the WebUI to enable and disable teams. You can use the WebUI to see any available ops. That's any ops you own and any ops for teams that you have enabled. So if you disable all your teams, all of the ops disappear from that screen except for the ones you own. So, and then you re-enable them, you can see them again. For ops that you don't own, you can always acknowledge marker and link assignments. And you can always mark assignments to you, your assignments, as completed. And if you own the op from the WebUI, you can assign markers and links. You can mark any assignment as complete, whether it's assigned to you or someone else. You can change the link direction. You can change the task order. There's other things that you can do as an operator in there. And changes you make in the WebUI are instantly available. Unlike in the design mode on the plugin, which you have to upload your changes, if you make them in the WebUI, they are instant, they're real time, and notifications are sent out instantly. So we'll cover that in depth later. For teams, you can enable and disable, and you can leave teams that you don't own. If you own it, you can add and remove agents. You can set the squad and the display name. So if you've got a pet nickname for someone on your squad, on your team, you can set a display name for them. Squad is free form. You can put anything you want in there. If they join by link, it says join by link, but you can change that to anything you want. I think this is how we're going to set up zones, because we don't always know what zones are going to be called. A lot of times they're by color, sometimes they're by region. So I think we're going to use this squad field to set up a layer of access control on zones. You can link a team to an ENL Rocks community, and that's bidirectional. So any change locally can be pushed. Any change in ENL Rocks can be pushed back to Wasabee. You can set it up one unidirectional or bidirectional. So if you use Rocks communities, as some of the early teams have, great. We've got full support for them. You can generate, change, and revoke your join link token. You can rename, you can delete, or you can give away your team. And you can broadcast Telegram messages to anyone who's got a Telegram ID to everyone on the team. The message comes from the bot, but it says who sent it. So It's a handy way if you just need to spam something out. Linking to Telegram for your Boots agents to get them to link to Telegram. It allows if you choose to link to Telegram, it allows you to get notifications. It's very handy, but it's not mandatory. It's going to be, as an operator, it's going to be your call whether you want to do that or not. If you have your ENL Rocks account linked to Telegram, we port that information right over. So we use and trust what's in Rocks. If you don't have it in Rocks, you can use the WebUI. Under Settings, there's a Telegram section. It walks you through it. It's bidirectional, so we confirm that you are who you say you are at Telegram, and vice versa, so we get a good link in there.
Yes.
There's currently a bug in there that you have to log out before you complete the last step. Working on it. I think I got it fixed, but I don't know. I haven't checked it. Using Wasabee to share location data. The best solution is to use the Wasabee mobile app. All you have to do is check the Enable Send Location setting and get on with life. The downside to this is it's not finished yet, and no one has access to it, so coming soon. I'm hearing from the guys in France. They were initially saying November, now they're kind of hinting at October. We might have a beta available early September that we can get to some people if people want to play with it. I'm making no promises for other developers. This stuff gets complicated, but if you're very keen on testing it, let me know and we'll get you access to it. You can use Telegram to send your location. You can send it two different ways. If you talk to the bot, there's a send location button that sends it once, which is fine as long as the agent remembers to send it fairly frequently. There's also a send live location option, which didn't exist when I initially wrote the server support for it, but we've added it in the last 2 to 3 weeks. It works pretty well, but you frequently need to foreground Telegram to get it to refresh, which is, for me, fine in the field because I'm usually pulling Telegram to the front. It works as well as Glimpse in my experience. I've tracked myself to the grocery store and on a hiking trail, and it did a pretty good job. But you've got to remember to foreground Telegram once in a while to get the pushes to go. Another option is to use Wasabee IITC on mobile. It pushes periodically, but only if IITC is foregrounded. So same thing as Telegram. You got to check the settings box and then keep IITC coming to the front once in a while. And then, excuse me, the Wasabee WebUI will do periodic updates as well of your location data, but you got to keep bringing it to the foreground. So until we get mobile working with background support, you're going to have to bring something to the foreground. So as an agent, as a field agent, not as an operator, the checklist is going to be your best friend. And it came up again today in the chats. I built these slides before the conversation today, but I hate spreadsheets, which is an overstatement. Spreadsheets are a fine tool that have a really good purpose. And when they're used for that purpose, spreadsheets are just fine. I keep my record collection price information in a spreadsheet. That's what they're there for. They're not intended to be used the way a lot of them are. I have a riding lawnmower and a Mini Cooper. If I were to take my riding lawnmower to the grocery store, that's using the wrong tool for the job. But yeah, if I tried to mow the lawn using my Mini, that would be the wrong tool for the job. I just want people to use the right tool for the job, and spreadsheets are the right tool for very few jobs. So that's my hatred of spreadsheets. That said, the checklist looks kind of like a spreadsheet. That's fine. It is what it is. The checklist lists the order of steps in the order that they should be performed. And so when we run ops here, we just say step 1, step 2. Okay, everyone 5 through 7, go. And we just call it out like that. One of the feature requests that's been in the background for a long time is being able to group steps in blocks, so we can say, okay, steps 5 through 14, and they show up in the checklist as sub steps. Yeah, we'll probably get there someday. But if agents have their checklist open, this is the easiest way. This replaces 80% of the spreadsheets we used to email around or share links to around. In the WebUI, the spreadsheet looks like this. It resizes pretty well down to mobile, not perfectly, but pretty well. And again, it basically the same. Steps 2 through 4, go. Okay, can we throw links 7 through 9? That's how we operate here. And we were doing that back in the spreadsheets days. So, if it works, go with it. This I think is for during the live op. This is the primary screen people will use. So, okay, markers. Yay, markers. That's a actual Wasabee IITC map with all of the various different kinds of markers in all of their states placed. So that's what I use for testing to make sure everything's got icons. We're in the middle of changing out from PNG format to SVG format. Can't tell it from this picture because it's already been dithered, but the SVGs look so much sharper on high-res monitors. So as I said at the beginning, markers indicate an action that needs to be performed. There are lots of different kinds of actions, everything from capture and destroy to let this portal decay. We maintain a couple of maps in the Dallas area that are just portals to farm. So we have a Dallas-wide map that is, these are where we're maintaining farms right now. Or these are keys that we want to get. So if you're in this neighborhood, get these keys. Or if you're in this neighborhood, come by and upgrade this portal. So it doesn't have to be for fielding ops. It can be just basic day-to-day, oh, let's see if there's anything close by that I need to do. Oh, somebody's requesting upgrades here.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of how we're using it for some of the Dallas teams. Some of the markers are more freeform, meet agent, other. When in doubt, ask your operator. For most fielding ops, virus and destroy are the most common. And this is because these are automatically placed, or can be automatically placed. Every marker type has 4 different states. There's pending or unassigned, assigned but not acknowledged, acknowledged or completed. And pending on the map has a white border, and assigned has a red border, acknowledged has a gold or orange border, and completed has a black border. Up until this week, both pending and assigned had red, and that was just because I hadn't gotten around to making the colors on the white ones. And the PNG files haven't been updated, just the SVGs. So you can quickly look at a map and see the state of things. You can glance at the map and you see a whole lot of white and red. You know that you've got assignments to do, or people need to acknowledge their assignments. If you see a lot of gold, you know you're golden. If you see a lot of black, you know the op's done. So that's what's going on there. How do you get your boots to acknowledge assignments? So you assign your markers and you assign your links. Links don't have colors yet. They do behind the scenes, but it's not displayed yet. We're working on that. How do you get your boots to acknowledge that they've received an assignment? The easiest way is through the WebUI. And you can see right next to my name on this first step, I guess they're all step 0 on this one, there's an ACK button. Click the ACK button, and it alerts the operator, the owner of the op, that the assignment's been made, or the acknowledgement's been made, changes it on the map. This happens on the server asynchronously, and that announcement's sent out to everyone who's got the map open, so it changes real time on the map. So as you've got 10 people all acknowledging their assignments at once, it looks really cool to watch the map change out from underneath you. Um, if your boots don't want to do this, or they just don't, but you know that they know that they've got this to do, you've communicated to them out of band. Um, People with write permission can do this right now only in the plugin, but we're working. I'll make it happen in the WebUI. So in the IITC plugin, you can do exactly the same thing. You pull up the checklist, you click on the state for it, so where it says pending in the state column, you click on that, it opens up a dialog, choose the new state, click OK. You don't even have to click OK. As soon as you choose the new state, the announcements are sent. So it's very fast. I find that it's usually less than a second between the time I acknowledge it and I get the confirmation from the server and the reports from the server back that the acknowledgement has been made. So it's really quick. How do you mark an assignment complete? Well, you just check the box. It's that easy. As soon as you check the box, it goes black on the screen. Or same as before in the IITC plugin, you just select, instead of acknowledge, you select completed, and you're off to the races. It's marked as done. I think most of the boots are going to find it easiest to do it in the WebUI. I had some provisional support for doing it in Telegram, but in Telegram you can only get 10 items in a button list. So it was a trouble of finding the right one in the 10, and if you've got 40 things assigned to you, you never see them all anyways. We'll revisit that if there's desire to do it through Telegram. So normally you can only acknowledge markers that are assigned to you, and normally you can only set completed for markers that are assigned to you. If you've got write permission, you can acknowledge for anyone, or you can mark completed for anyone. A marker does not need to be acknowledged to be marked completed. So you don't have to do the acknowledgement step. If that's not good for your workflow, don't worry about it. This is designed to be flexible and work the way you work. If the whole acknowledgement stage doesn't do anything for you, don't use it. And again, Telegram interface is a possibility if there's interest. Again, with the checklist screen, links are easy. On the checklist screen, we calculate the distance of the link and the minimum level required. I've got some stuff behind the scenes that I'm working on to show mods required, to show if you need a link amp, a rare SoftBank, or a very rare. The math gets weird when you start doing multiple different, like if you need 3 SoftBanks and a regular link amp, it gets kind of hokey. So I'm working on, if anybody's a math genius and wants to solve that problem for me, please. Yeah. But again, what we do is we call out step 2, step 3, and we're just off to the races. Also available in the WebUI is a light version of the map, and this will show what you have permission to see, whether that's the assignments only or the full thing. And it does show marker state now, so you can see that some of those have gold outlines and some of those have red outlines. So that's available to you. If you just want to glance and see what the op looks like, this is a billion times faster than waiting for IITC to start up. So receiving targets and assignments. This is actually a screenshot from my Telegram here, talking with the bot, the US bot. You can see the send location button down at the bottom here, the teams button where you can enable and disable teams, and there's an option to see teammates near you. It was a feature we were playing with. It's not really gained any traction, so we'll probably kill it. But as you can see, I was receiving assignments over here in the left-hand side. The middle screenshot is actually a pop-up from the IITC console where you've got send, target, and assign as options. If you assign it, the assignment is set target sent. Over on the right side, you can see the difference between what it looks like when you receive an assignment and when you receive an ad hoc target. Um, I like sending targets because it's easier. It saves time, but there's not much functionality difference between dropping a new marker and assigning it and just sending an ad hoc target. Ad hoc targets are just there as a convenience feature for live fire when things are going fast. All right, so that's as much as I prepared for today. Any other questions, comments, anything we want to talk about? Crystal Wizard.
Okay, just a reminder, we do have the bug testing chat. And for anybody that doesn't know how to install on Android, we are frequently helping people with Android. So if you need that help, please come into that chat rather than bugging Scott, and we will get you installed.
Now I have a document to send saying, here, go read this. Because I don't know. I mean, I've never used IITC Android.
It's pretty close to the same for iOS. You are going to install from the Play Store. There's just a couple of little things that are different.
Sorry it took me so long to jump in. I'm here finally.
Hey, Sticks.
I'm the exact opposite. I've never touched an Android device, so on the iPhone device. I mean, yeah, thank you for the help in the background.
Flip phone right there. That's the way to go. If you get Ingress running on your flip phone, let me know.
I mean, from my standpoint, I'm a fairly new user of this. Obviously, I've joined the chat about a month ago or so. The biggest challenge I have in getting the team to use this software is to set up them. So you providing this is a great tool. I'd like to see maybe a more condensed version from a booth perspective, where they should go, what the links are, how, those type of things. From a, I don't know, maybe not 10,000 foot level, maybe like that 3,500 foot level. So a recapping of all these meetings would be awesome. From an operator standpoint, I need to know this.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get all the install information on that help screen in the WebUI. It's just time and money, right?
No, I completely understand, and I'm working with the team here in Jacksonville, Florida, to get everybody set up, mainly one at a time. There's a couple of my team members here on this call now, so hopefully they'll be able to take this knowledge and kind of help with some of those less tech savvy, let's say, users and agents. So I really enjoy using the tool so far.
We have one guy that's writing a bunch of help files and videos, but we can always write you specific stuff. If you will telegram me what you're needing, I can put documentation together for you, specifically for your team.
And that's awesome. So as those come up and I develop that, or the need arises, I'll certainly look you up.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will tell you the worst, not the worst, but the one thing that was the sticking point was the Telegram bot. So getting me to understand that there was a Telegram bot was hard enough, then I had to convey that. I didn't realize that. So I used this thing for like a month. When I was trying to assign things, it wasn't going anywhere. So somebody said, "There's a Telegram bot." So that was one of those little features that I didn't pick up on in the main literature.
You have it working good now, though, right?
Oh yeah. So, but I guess I'm just letting you know, just so if I had a problem with it, probably others may also have it.
Yeah, the Telegram bot's one of the oldest parts. After that.
So that's probably why I was forgotten. So in the Telegram sticky note, you say, here's the server, here's this, here's that. I don't think the bot was in there originally.
Yeah.
It may be there now, but that was where I missed it.
Yeah, I wrote that
give,
thing at the very beginning and really haven't touched it in the last year or so because nobody's poking at it. So, you know.
So, but when I want to send an assignment to a less tech savvy agent, it was a godsend. I mean, when I discovered it, it was like I can just tell agent 123, and they just click a button and follow their GPS. I mean, there's no copying and pasting, going to an IT thing. So no, it's great. I mean, I'd like to make sure that doesn't go away.
yeah, give me a few minutes, and I'll try to get the PHDev bot added to the general pinned message as well. So
That would be good. That would be good.
So awesome. Well, I think you covered everything that I was looking for when I, kind of requested me. I'll let other people jump in here if they want to ask some general questions.
I'm committed for the next 11 minutes, so if anybody's got any burning questions.
So much better than spreadsheets. I admire your work, gentlemen. Thank you.
You saw that conversation in the chat, huh?
No, I didn't see any conversation. It's the first one I've been in.
oh, there was a nice long conversation today in the general chat, I think it was,
Yeah.
about wanting to use spreadsheets, and I'm like, no, but I mean, you can, but why?
Scott, you know what I think might be good would be a Zoom session like this, but specifically on all the things Wasabee does that spreadsheets used to do, very detailed and in depth. Because even after you went into detail there and you talked here, I'm pretty sure most people are still in the habit of, I've got to do a spreadsheet, and Wasabee's just for drawing, and it's not. So maybe think about a session for that.
Yeah, I mean, if people could discover this, the checklist, which I think is the real power. The drawing is fine, but it generates that checklist of every step along the way um, that makes op planning so much easier.
Yeah, that's why I said a Zoom session that goes into detail on that, because that's, most people look at it, and I've had them tell me this. Yeah, it's great for drawing, but I need to do this and I need to do that. Well, but Wasabee will do that where?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about, I forgot, left off the slides, managing keys, that agents can track the keys they have for the ops and report in what they've farmed so far. And
Yeah. Wasabee is a very powerful tool, and it just, the more in-depth sessions we can have on all of the, no, it's not a draw, all of the other stuff that's not drawing, and record those sessions, the better, because then we'll have a whole library of all of these various things and say, hey, go watch all these videos, and you'll see what the program really does do.
yeah.
Yeah, Wasabee is amazing in the sense that, I always say that Wasabee is draw tools on steroids, and draw tools is Intel on steroids. So is Wasabee like the Hulk of Intel?
Roid rage.
Oh shit.
The whole, I guess, biggest goal is for Wasabee to be the only tool you need.
No, I don't think that's fair. I don't ever think that there's such a thing as having one tool that does everything. I mean, I like having a nice multi-tool, right, when I hike, but sometimes you need a hammer, and a multi-tool makes a really lousy hammer. So, I think it can be the 80 to 90% tool, but there's always going to be corner cases and exceptions. So,
Flip phones don't make good hammers either.
Flip phones don't make good hammers. A sure after
Depends on your flip
SM7
phone.
does though.
There was one thing. There was one thing that I do if in the area. I've been back out of Cuba now for about a year and a half, and the culture in Jacksonville has completely changed 180 um, since we've been more active in the chats. So one thing I used to do is scan the Intel map in the mornings and set high value targets, is what I call them, HVTs,
Mm-hmm.
and set those in our chat. And basically in the mornings, just like, hey, if somebody's driving by here, let's go a couple blocks out of your way. And that worked really well. But it becomes cumbersome to do that. Find the link, get the Intel link, put it in the chat. It really would be nice to push this out, like you said earlier, with your little, it's not always an operation, but be able to push that message out to your agents and be like, hey, this went up overnight. Let's see if we can get it down. I think that's a good use.
So what we do is we have a standing farm map and then a targets map, and people can edit the targets map and add markers in for things that they want destroyed or whatnot. Targets and portals support comments, so you can say why you want it killed. You know, you say 50K AP off this one portal, you know, somebody's going to go take it out. And then, you know, people update the map throughout the day, and everyone's got read and write access to it to where they can just jump in and do it. And then changes are real time. And then I've thought about adding Telegram support to chat rooms, which would be connected to the team, so that you could send a target to not just an individual, but a team. So you can send ad hoc targets out, which would be fun. But one of those things, are people going to use it? If not, I'm not going to bother writing it. So.
People will use it if they know about it. I think a lot of the stuff that Wasabee can do, most people don't know about. Remember, we exploded with members just in a few months. And a lot of what people know about is just the basic stuff. Yeah. Like the stuff you were talking about earlier, and you said you're probably going to kill it because nobody's using it, but nobody knows about it. So don't kill it. Let's advertise it. Let's put a session together. Let's put an in-depth video together. Let's show it to people and show them how to use it. And then in a couple of months, if nobody's using it, okay, then maybe they didn't care.
I had in one of the very early versions the ability to actually, it would just ping you. Telegram would notify you, the server would notify you if it detected that you were close to a target on any operation that you were on. So if you were close, if you were within 1/8 of a mile, I think is what I had it set to, that Telegram would just ping if you rolled by something, which was handy and annoying at the same time, depending on what part of town you were in.
If you could set it so that you could turn off notifications if you didn't want them,
yeah,
that could be really, really useful for some people. You took it out, didn't you?
Yeah, I know a few in my area that if they were alerted as they neared a target, they would deviate to go take out that target.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that it would need to be so that you could flag that you don't want notifications. And not tell Telegram not to turn on notifications, but tell Wasabee you don't want notifications sent.
Yeah.
And because, yeah, there's lots of people I can think of that would be just incredibly happy with that. And that way too, if you've got an op going and you can just send out, here's new targets, where you know you've got several operators, but you don't have time to stop and talk or do much of anything else. All of a sudden they're being pinged with grab this. That would be really useful too.
Start driving out to X city. You'll get alerts on the way.
Yeah.
Kind of a situation. Yeah, that would be really good. Like for holy shit barf fields. So
yeah.
another location-based,
Or even enlightened only challenges. I mean, think of the possibilities of that one. You know, being
What do you mean?
sorry to interrupt you. Well, I was just thinking of like if if somebody was to devise a locally, you know, like a local playboard where enlightened only are playing, and you know, portals in which, you know, oh, this portal hasn't been captured in, you know, X number of months, or I haven't seen anybody in this area of town in
Oh
X
God,
number of
can you
months.
imagine this as an anomaly tool?
Oh yeah.
no.
If it could do that?
Sorry, Scott. We love you. Shut up, Crystal.
Is
We're all
anyone else
thinking the
here?
same thing.
No, just the alerts feature in Wasabee that we're sitting here talking about as a anomaly tool.
Is anyone else here an anomaly operator?
No.
No.
No,
One of the
not
first
yet.
very things they tell you in anomaly operating school is do not say that you could build a better tool than theirs.
So
Well,
So,
so
so I didn't tell them.
I was actually going to say that. I was like, you didn't tell them. You just had me message them the hey, Wasabi's out link, right?
No, no. I let the anomaly ops, the dev team do their thing. So
Yeah. I
yeah, but
will
if we can get
definitely
everybody
say,
using Wasabee and everybody knows it can do all these things and it's got those functions, and it will just kind of come in the back door and take over.
yeah, I don't want the anomaly toolkit is so specific that I mean maybe it would, but it would have to be altered and maybe an anomaly specific version, at least for the client side or for the draw side.
You've
Um,
got time, don't you?
no,
well, but see, and here's the other challenge about the anomaly is that we don't know if slash when. Okay, sorry, not if. We don't know when we're going to have another physical anomaly right now.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
planning for something is a good thing, but yet spending the time and the resources to develop something that may, you know, happen in 3 months from now would be a good thing. But if it doesn't happen for a year and a half or 2 years down the line, we don't know.
yeah.
Well, but
So
granted, but with what we've got and the development we're heading toward, by the time we do get another physical anomaly, it'll be miles above where it is right now.
True.
so
So
here's another idea that I've been rolling around, and I don't know if people will use it. Is that you set up a team that when anyone rolls within area of this team, they get automatically added to it.
No.
No.
that would be good for a
Yanuki Chan's making the don't do that face.
Yeah, no, I can see it accidentally adding people in that you don't want,
That's true.
yeah.
you know?
I mean,
We get a lot of visitors through this area.
yeah,
Well, that's what I
yeah.
was
Hey,
thinking
I'm
it would be
we have a
useful
lot of
for.
spoofers. I don't want the spoofers being added to my team.
Well, they
yeah,
would have to be pushing location from Wasabee.
yeah.
My thought was you set up a map, a visitors map. So you have your Phoenix visitors team that people get added to when they just show up.
I'd rather have them talk to me and me
Yeah, it's one of those ideas
by
that
hand and just,
never been foreground enough to worry about. So
I
I
guess
I
what I could say is put it in, but make it so that you have to double confirm that you really want to do this before you can enable the feature.
yeah,
mhm. I mean, I see some usefulness of it, but only in highly specific metropolitan areas. So, like, as an example, Phoenix is broken up into, last time I looked and saw, it was about 10 different, you know, individual Telegram groupings.
Yeah,
And
about that.
having agents automatically join and then remove when they get into those areas would be would be interesting, but yet on an operation standpoint, sometimes it works and other times it just becomes an absolute cluster of, oh crap, I didn't know this person was in here. Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, it would be.
You
It would
see in
be
chat what Valkyrie said, Scott?
yeah, I think that was in reference to the ability to send
Cat
teams
herder.
to send messages to
alerts.
entire teams. Yeah.
My thought on all these various options and anything else we come up with, the more functionality, the better. It's just for things that might be only a few people would use it, or it might be destructive to others. Put in confirms and make it automatically opted out. People have to enable it and opt in to use it, but don't refuse to put it in just because it might not be useful to various people or whatever. The more features we have, the more things it can do, the better, because the more flexible it is. And then it's not, well, I wanted this, but 5 people didn't want it, so it got left out.
So
Yeah.
Valkyrie just said, he gasped for shards. Um,
No, Wasabee, you can't do shards.
when we were
Actually,
when we were
if
doing
you-
the last shard highway that went through the Texas Gulf Coast up to Oklahoma City, where we landed, what, 12 shards, 11 shards, something like that over that one
A
link.
lot of them. A
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yeah,
majority.
the link went down at one point, and the cross-faction chats blew up. And so I seized control. That might be overstating it, but
Good.
I started operating to get the blockers cleared and things back up, and I'm sending out Wasabee screenshots of to res agents, not telling them what tool I'm using. You know, they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, No, I don't ask about your tools. You don't ask about mine. Here's where you need to go."
This is the blocker that is in the way. You need to get here as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
very clear to me that ENL operators and res operators are very different in the way we approach things. So it's fun.
The two teams, the core premise of the factions attracts different mindsets for people.
Yeah.
You know, and so yeah, the resistance, the people that are attracted to the resistance, they're aliens. They're not really aliens, but they play the game different.
Yeah. So I'm hearing some excitement about the idea of nearby targets, that kind of stuff. I'll see if that's still viable. Next week we'll talk about basic drawing. You know, how to use the draw tools, the auto draw, that kind of stuff. Assigning markers, auto detecting blockers, that kind of stuff. Anything else we need to cover next week?
That's probably enough, because that's a lot of information for 1 hour, 1.5 session. And if we're going to record these and we're going to put them up for people to download later, that don't go through more than that.
Yeah, this is long enough. Charlie, thoughts?
Squirrel.
Squirrel. How are you nuts?
Charlie's off chasing shiny stuff.
Shards? I didn't know shards were released.
We've still got a shard stuck in a tractor factory.
Well.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's call this one done. Anything before we go?
There was a question in the chat about markers.
What about markers?
One on each end of a blocker. And my comment on that is, while we do need a marker that will go on each end of a blocker, I think it needs to be 2 markers that show up. They need to be linked, kind of like between each other, not just because there's a blocker there. And when one gets dealt with, the other one needs to go away. So endpoint 1 and endpoint 2.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Um,
Okay, well, let's think about it, see what we can come up with.
Quantum entanglement markers.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. This was very informative. Wasabee looks like an awesome tool.
All right.
Wasabee is an incredible tool, and Scott is the world's best programmer, I swear.
No, not good enough at math for that title. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
see you later. Thank
See
you,
you
Scott.
later. Have a good one, y'all.